Yo, so guys, it's today we doing the review on The Bride.
How could I make it better? How could I see it change? How could I show you that?
Alright, so let's start off with the acting. So I was a fan of the acting. Obviously, right? You get people like Jessie Buckley. I'm blanking right now, but you know the John Halls, Christian Bale, all of that. It's gonna be a good film acting wise at the very least, and that's what it was. It was very good acting in my eyes. It was probably like an 8 out of 10 in terms of acting, especially the lead, the lead female, Jessie Buckley. She plays in the movie she plays the Bride of Frankenstein as well as Mary Shelley, right? It was done in a way that I felt for the character. I felt the character. I understood the character. It just wasn't a very good character. In my opinion, obviously, all of this is my opinion, but I felt that the whole movie suffered from subpar writing, which is it's a common thing, sadly, in today's media, is that a lot of them don't hit that mark on the story. They can hit the mark on acting. They can hit the mark on cinematography and on sound, right? But they can't quite hit that story mark for me. I'm getting off topic. The acting in the movie, if you're gonna see a movie for any reason, see it for the acting. I giving the acting an 8 out of 10. All right, for story, my biggest issue with this movie probably is the story. I'd have to say I give the story like a 2 out of 10. It was maybe a 3 if I'm feeling lucky or if I'm feeling nice that day, right? But it started off as like a psychological kind of drama, draws you in, has you feeling feelings about it, and then it cuts immediately into some mob shit out like really nowhere, cuts to some mob shit, and then it kind of poises up kind of like a romance story. It starts off one kind of, right, and then it kind of goes into like a political piece about sexism briefly. It's like it tried to start 10 different storylines and didn't commit properly to any of them. The only one that they really stuck to a little bit being the mob story, which was by far the least entertaining story out of all those stories. I wouldn't even call it a romance movie, because if it was, they threw away their chances at that too. They had several opportunities where they could have made it more of a romance story if that's what they were going for. They could have made it more of a political story if that's what they were going for. But no, the thing they landed on was mob story. And when we're talking about Frankenstein's Bride and they landed on a mob story, it just doesn't make sense to me. It feels like it's a get together for Maggie and her friends and family to have fun on a movie. And I mean, they acted brilliantly, sure, but the story, just not a fan of the story. This is one of my smaller notes because there's not much for me to say on this. There was moments, definitely, like there was a moment in the film where the light shatters, and that moment could have been done to a higher level, right? Obviously, sound is something that I'm pretty lenient myself on sound, but like my dad, he was talking about the sound. He was talking about it, because he does sound. That's just, that's what we do, is sound. And what he was talking about the light. That was his main thing. He kept talking about that light. kept bringing up how that light could have been done better, and I agree. We both agreed that the sound didn't really take too much away from the film, but it didn't really give much to the film either. It was, you know, it was no Mark Mangini. You know, I mean, it was pretty good though. It was done decently. I felt that they provided solid a solid performance sound wise. I don't think anyone's gonna walk out of that film saying, "God damn, that sound was awful." Like it was. I don't think anyone was blown away by that sound either. It was just very basic sound. Um, Honestly, I wonder if they just pulled out the basic sound pack. It doesn't sound very like excelledly mixed, but it didn't sound bad. I don't want to give that intention at all. I don't want to give that feeling, that emotion at all. I don't want to invoke that because it was done amazingly. Done amazingly. I loved it. Well, right. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It was very mediocrely, very well, adequately done sound. Fuck, let me stop insulting the sound people. I love you, sound people. You did an amazing job. Usually, this was not an amazing job, though. This was just a very okay, good, decent job. I don't think I said the rating. 7 out of 10. The cinematography really speaks to comparing cinematography to Gyllenhaal's last film, so The Lost Daughter. Comparing the cinematography, a friend of mine was talking, an acquaintance of mine was talking about this. It's very similar cinematography between the two, so I'm wondering maybe if the camera op isn't the same person or similar. Maybe it is, or that might just be how Gyllenhaal has her shots set up that way. But very similarly to the sound, I felt that it wasn't nothing that blows me away. It doesn't blow me away, but that it didn't leave me wanting for much more. So in that way, they did a good job, but they didn't do a great job. And that's more so what I was trying to say with the sound is that but see, with the sound and the camera, they can be a little bit less than perfect and still wind up with a good outcome because they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be amazing, flawless, right? They just have to be not noticeable. It just has to be it just has to sound like real life, or not even real life, sound like how people think real life sounds, right? Sorry, we're talking about visuals now. It's a little bit different. Just get the shit in frame. Get the shit in frame. Make sure it looks good. Get the shit in frame. Make sure it looks good. Make sure there's no mics in the camera, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there is a whole lot of depth with cameras. Obviously, photography is very deep art, but it's it's also turning on a button, making sure the camera looks good, and walking about your day. Just like sound is really just moving knobs and shit. We like to say, we moving knobs. But there's more to it, obviously. But the base level, we have very simple jobs. I'm getting off track. For cinematography, I give it a 7 out of 10. The Gibson factor basically this is my starting level of how much I like a movie, right? Might be like a 5 out of 10 in my mind before I go see it, right? I'm thinking about it based off the trailer, based off the lead up to the movie. Did my enjoyment of the movie go up or down? If so, by how much? And that is the Gibsonian factor. How much the movie impacted me. It also includes directing a little bit, but I digress. The Bride. The Gibsonian factor for The Bride was like a solid... It was a 2 out of 10, which is like impressive, I want to say, but just because it started off, I was already not like I went into the movie with very low to no expectations, yet they still found a way to like disappoint me. So 2 out of 10, yeah, 2 out of 10. And of course, here's the formula for my final rankings and whatnot. And the final ranking is on the screen now. It ranked higher than I thought it would. Ranked higher than I thought it would, so I'm gonna say.
One from your heart to get crushed and put in the trash. I admit I love you, yeah, baby, that's the truth. My emotions on my sleeve when I'm in the booth.